Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to SoulPet. Fluff the hair, adjust the. I'm actually looking at the lighting more than anything. We're going to keep our fingers crossed with this change of seasons that the lighting holds out for me because I have not switched over to my wintertime lighting yet. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, I still want to be stuck in summertime. Hello, hello, everybody, except for those of you, of course, like Dana on the other side of the world, where it's the opposite in the Southern Hemisphere. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Soul Pet. I'm Elaine, the Animal Reiki Lady, and I'm an Animal Reiki Master, Animal Chaplain, Animal Medium. And our channel is dedicated to everybody who is on a journey of recovery, a journey of healing after the loss of an animal companion. And now we have really, honestly, guys, we have taken this so much further. It's more than just helping our hearts to heal. It's understanding just how connected we still are with all of our animal companions on the other side. And that's the kind of messages that we share now. It's tonight when we talk about communicating with animals after life, communicating with animals in the non-physical. It's really becoming, dare I say, well, maybe not mainstream, but we're not on the fringe anymore. We are not on the fringe anymore when we are recognizing that we can still stay connected and receive messages from our animal companions on the other side. And Pat, I noticed a quick comment, and we'll get to it in just a moment, about how real it feels to you and how you know now that it's not a con, because it is not. I think back in the day, there was a time when things like this, like when mediums were kind of shown to be frauds because they were doing ridiculous things like the table raising and the tambourines shaking and the lights flickering and the plasma. Yeah, it's so real. It's so real. And I can't wait to just share more and more of this with you guys. But first, let's say hello to everybody. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that the light holds out. Otherwise, we're just going to have to make do. As you guys know, low-tech woman, high-tech world. So we just do this as in real life as we go. That's why I love to do live streams too. I do enjoy doing the pre-recorded things, but I would much rather just speak from my heart as we go along. And tonight's topic, of course, is going to be how we talk to our animal companions on the other side and how we receive messages, give and take. So it's not just about them sending us signs and messages, but also us being able to communicate with them. We're going to talk about that. And then whatever else comes up for us, that's what we'll talk about also. So I like to say hello for all those of you who are catching this not live. I like to say hello to all of our channel members first. Then we go through a couple of questions, and then we get into the meat of the topic. So if you're one of those folks who doesn't like the whole setup of a live stream, just scroll ahead a couple minutes, and you'll get to the point. Maybe I can even post in the comments when we get down to the meat of it for those of you who aren't that fond of the whole live stream thing. But I hope to convince you otherwise, because we have a great familia here. This family, this Soul Pet family, is amazing. So you'll see comments already being posted by Pat and Kali and Sharon and Sherry. And this is a big shout out to you guys also. Donna and Jody and Cheryl, Ms. None, your New York business. Kathy H. And I have to see if Kathy R. is here yet too. I might have said hello to Kathy H. already. But anywho, we have a great family here, and no matter where you happen to be on your journey after your animal has crossed to the other side, this group of people will hold you. We will hold you in a space and let you know with a giant virtual hug that you are accepted, judgment-free, and we are here to help carry that load with you, to help you bear what it is that you're going through and get to the next step, so that you can remain connected with your animal companion. All right, so let's say hello to everybody first. Officially, hello to my channel members, Pat and Kali, and scroll down, Sherry, and I said Kali already, and Donna. It is great to see you. Thanks for being here. Kathy H. I already said hello to Jody, and all right. So far, that's what we got. And I'll try to say hello to more people as they join, and hello to Julie, and hello to Charlie. It is great to see you guys all here. So let's take a couple of questions, because Pat, usually you do a great job of asking questions that are directly related to the topic that we're going to talk about. So we'll dive into those, and then begin to share some of the ways that we connect with our animal companions on the other side. So Pat says that he feels the biggest hindrance to his communicating is clearing his mind of all the clutter. That is probably the number one, or at least tied or possibly the same as stress. all of the things that clutter our mind. In the Buddhist tradition, I think that it's called the monkey mind. And that's where there's just a constant stream of chatter going on. Even right now, I know it. So going through my mind right now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, my mind is already thinking about, I can see the light starting to dim. My mind is already thinking about, there's a soccer game going on right across the street. And is that going to get loud? Because there's a guy on a loudspeaker calling the plays. Those are the things going on in my mind right now. Then there's all the things going on in your mind. Every last little thing, from the big things to the little things, and even the big things, right? Who's the guy who wrote the chicken soup things? Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm going to try to suggest tonight a couple of ways. I've mentioned them before, but I'm going to go a little deeper tonight. Ways that you can clear the clutter out of your mind. And I've got my favorite way that I'm going to share. And then, of course, being a Reiki master, it's the thing that really did open the door to show me how to quiet my mind and what it meant to quiet my mind. I used to be one of those people, I'm a corporate dropout. I walked away from my 35-year corporate job and the control freak, the type A control freak. And I was the one who was always rolling my eyes. You guys, most of you know, at least all of my channel members know, Nana, who is now on the other side, was a dedicated viewer until she crossed last October. I can't believe that it's going to be a year in just a few weeks, that it's going to be a year since our crossing. We just celebrated her first heavenly birthday last week. But Nana was a physician, but she was secretly, and sometimes not so secretly, an energy healer and an energy worker. And I was the one who rolled my eyes. I was the one who just kind of like patted her on the back and said, okay, yeah, whatever, energy healing. Oh my gosh, did she open me up to so many things. And Reiki is what got me there. And once I learned how to quiet that mind, I understood what she was trying to teach me. So thank you, Heavenly Nana, for all of your teaching and for all of your patience with me. Her patting me on the back on, it'll be okay, honey. You'll see. You're going to come around. So I am going to share some of those ways with you tonight, how to quiet our mind. Pat also says, it seems as if Logan works harder than I do. Due to some of the signs that he sends you. I would suggest that he's not working harder than you. It's just easier for him than it is for us. All of our animals, whether they're here in the physical, even animals in the physical with us, tend to mirror a lot of the stressors that we have as human beings. So it's not quite always as easy for them, but they definitely don't carry all the stuff that we do. They don't carry ego. They don't carry comparisonitis. They're not worried about their body image. All of those things are not part of our animal companions' thought process. And then when they cross to the other side, they cross into pure positive love and the place where there's no rules. Even here, I'm gonna share more tonight about nothing is written in stone, but I think it's easier for them. So it's easier for Logan to reach across, and the more that he learns and reaches across to you, the easier it becomes for you to communicate back. It must be, we talked about our pets reading our minds. Oh yeah, we can read each other's minds. Not that somebody can invade your mind and think your private thoughts and hear your private thoughts. That's not the way that it works. But telepathic communication is simply non-local mind. So we have the mind that is in our brains right here with us, that where we receive thoughts, that it gives us the ability to read, write, speak, function, and plus all the other things that we don't want to do. But then there's the non-local mind. The non-local mind, it's like being physical and non-physical. The non-local mind is the mind that is in the quantum field. It is the universal mind to which we all have access. And in that way, we can receive thoughts telepathically by stepping outside of the little brain between our ears and into the bigger brain that is part of the quantum field and being able to share thoughts. And if you give your animal companion permission, they can share whatever thoughts you'd like with them. Sometimes I ask my Jack and Lucy to help me get past some of the thoughts that I don't choose to entertain, that where did they pop into my mind from, or why am I still hanging on to that grudge? I ask them just to come into my little mind and help me shut down those thoughts. It must be so much easier to exist as a spirit, right? There you go. How many of you have said to me when we've talked about reincarnation, "No, thank you," because of course, it's easier. We came here to experience. Literally, we did come here, whether you agree with me or not, or whether you could agree with the complete truth of it or not. We came here to experience life in these physical bodies in every way possible. And that includes the good, the bad, and the indifferent. Only now I truly believe that as a global universal consciousness, we're rising above the need, which is sometimes where all the conflict comes from. We are rising, and by conflict, I mean all of the good versus bad, evil, good, bad, war versus, the haves, the have-nots. I think that's part of the experience of us growing up. It's like we're in our teenage years and we're growing out of that, and some people are still stuck in it. But there's a lot of people who are absolutely going to the next level. So yeah, it's easier to be in spirit. You can travel to different dimensions. There are no rules. I can't thank you, Pat, because you're getting it. There are no rules on the other side. Don't let anybody tell you. You can watch 100 different videos on YouTube, and 100 different people will tell you there's 12 dimensions of heaven, there's 10 dimensions of hell, there's seraphim, there's archangels, there's no rules on the other side. We made up all those rules. Human beings made up those rules. There on the other side, complete freedom, but it doesn't turn into anarchy because on the other side, it is all pure, positive love, and we get to make different choices. There were two things that opened the door for me to being open-minded, the possibility of afterlife, and that's a reading. So thank you, Pat, for validating that. And I'm the first one to say that I don't get everything right when I do these readings, which is receiving communication on your behalf from your animal companion. I believe that some of the reasons why it doesn't come through as clearly through a third party is the relationship is different and some of the things don't make sense to me. I might not understand the information the way that your animal companion is meaning to convey it to you, which is why I want to be able to teach you how to receive messages from your animal companions on the other side, because you are the person they want to speak to. They happily, willingly, joyfully, and I'm so grateful that they connect with me so that I can share messages, but their soul human, we call this soul pet, their soul person is you, and you're the person they want to connect with. So that's why I love to share these techniques to help you release the resistance that you have to messages from the other side and trust that you can receive them. And then your animal companions will jump right in, just like Logan. They will jump right in and start to show you the best signs and the best connection. Let's jump down to Kali. Tips or methods to help you clear your mind, especially, it comes up all the time, especially at the hectic pace that we live life here on planet Earth. It comes up all the time, Kali, that we are not able to concentrate or that our mind wants to go down 100 different rabbit holes as we're trying to meditate. How do we get to that quiet space? I think that I have some tips for you. Are animals born just able to communicate with spirit, or do they have to develop it as they age? No, they're born just like babies are born. Babies are born with it too. I've witnessed it in my own granddaughter, and I want to be able to nurture it. Now, keeping in mind that she is my granddaughter, I would love to go back and redo things with my own daughter, who has since had her own spiritual awakening and is well on the path with me. For her to not have to go through that, for her to be able to hold on to the magic. Yes, babies can do it and pets can do it. There's no, and the only reason that our animal companions may, I don't want to say lose, but may also forget some of their natural ability is because of their reflection of us, of us as people. They mirror back to us what we go through. As a teaching lesson, I don't always like to call it teaching lessons, though. It's not like we came here because we have to like jump over a bunch of hurdles in order to become spiritually aware. It's more of a really intense game of chess, and we're trying to figure it out. Or I had a great analogy earlier today. It's like a game of chutes and ladders. If anybody's ever played chutes and ladders, but it is meant to be a game, and we're meant to enjoy it. And I think that sometimes we forget that we're meant to enjoy this. So our animal companions can show us that too. Gary and Potato sent you a big sign. That's awesome, Kali. I love that kind of stuff. They sent you a big sign. Earl, Ozzy, and I were outside with a huge rainbow. I love when they send us rainbows. I have pictures of rainbows from several different animals that I've worked with, including my own animal companions that sent me rainbows on the day that they crossed. It's one of the biggest, most beautiful messages that we can. I mean, it's impossible to explain coincidence when a rainbow shows up just when you need it. Sharon, I'm sorry, Sharon, when you catch this on the replay, we love you. We miss you. We're hugging you from afar. And happy birthday to your son. Sherry, hello. Yes, we will miss her. The hardest part for me is just to slow down. You guys know how I go through this too. I'm receiving my own lessons about that right now. I've been having some meniscus issues with my knee. I can't ride my bike. I can't walk as fast as I normally do. I keep everything at a pretty good clip. I keep myself I hold myself to a pretty fast pace, and I am spiritually getting the message to slow the F down, slow down until my body is making me slow down. So that is something. It's the fast pace that we keep. And I think some of the things, I'm going to write this down just so I don't forget as we get into the receiving messages part, that some of the messages that we can ask for are ways to help us slow down without having to have an injury. But I'm just going to write that down as one of my little notes because you guys know everything's in writing. I do everything with, and we're going to share about automatic writing tonight too. Let me continue on. Slow down. There's always a to-do list. Isn't that something? Why is there always a to-do list? Our animal, that's something they could also teach us. There is no animal on the planet with a to-do list. And I think that we can take a lesson from that. There are things that we have created in this wonderful, beautiful world that we call planet Earth that seem to be a function of daily living, everything from getting the oil changed in your car to getting your annual checkup to caring for our animal companions. There's a whole lot of things that are always on our to-do list, and it can get very long. And that doesn't include all the things that the to-do list that we have at our jobs. Even though this is my self-employment now, I always have a to-do list that's going on. I keep a running to-do list. It's nice to be able to cross those things off, check them off. But wouldn't it be nice one day to wake up without having a to-do list? And I think that's kind of what we're all striving for. So we'll try and talk about the to-do list. Little bits, so many don't realize it, but these little bits of calming are Reiki. I learned that from the best. Sherry, we're going to talk about learning Reiki tonight. If anybody is interested, I'm going to save it for the end, but Reiki is the thing that helped me quiet my mind. And if I think that I have a to-do list now, I think I just look back at what it used to be like, where I used to have an Excel spreadsheet. I used to so much. When I think back to how much time I wasted before I got to this point, but every little moment of calm is Reiki. And the more you can spend every day starting your day off, writing this down too. Boy, this was not, see, things come to me as we talk here. I call it putting on your Reiki suit in the morning. So when you step out of bed, don't step out of bed until you've set the calm pace for the day. All right, so I'm just going to say that now. I'm not even going to write it down. This is one of the best ways to be able to start to get communication from your animal companion, and it has nothing to do with giving or receiving information. It has everything to do about your state of mind. When I go to sleep at night, I know I've mentioned this before, but it has to become a habit. It's not just something you can do every once in a while. Even I find myself getting out of certain habits that I've created for myself. But every night before you fall asleep, program your subconscious mind with the information that you want your subconscious mind to have. So we have our conscious waking mind. This is the thing that walks around all day long, observes everything, sees everything going on around it, knows what the to-do list looks like, has everything written down, has the clutter all over their desk, knows what has to be going on at any point in time, knows who to talk to, knows when they have to call this person. When you go to sleep at night, you don't want to rehash all the BS that has gone on all day long. You want to set the tone for the next day. So make that a priority when you go to sleep. Set the tone for the next day there's a couple of ways to do this. As you're falling asleep, I tell myself, nothing matters to me except peace and quiet. I want ease and peace and quiet. I don't have to get specific. I can if I choose to. If I know that I have something important going on the next day, I can say I choose to approach that from a space of love and calm and peace and kindness. I see the kindness in everybody. I will give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I will not anger. You know, the 5 Reiki precepts, we teach this in my Reiki class. The 5 Reiki precepts, the number 1 is just for today, I will not anger. So I choose not to anger. As I'm falling asleep at night, I set the tone with that in my mind. I will settle for nothing less than peace and calm and ease. When you fall asleep that way, your mind then doesn't dwell on all of the other things that went on during the day. It focuses on what you are programming it with. Then you fall asleep. You may or may not dream. Dreams are on my list of communications from animals. You may or may not dream. You do dream. You just may or may not remember the dream. But then when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is not, I don't even have it here next to me. Oh, no, I do. I was going to say, I'm so proud of myself. Do not look at this thing. I would keep it far away from your bedside. Just put it on the other side of the room. Put it in another room. Do not look at this thing. Do not check your email. Do not check your messages. None of that. The first thing you want to do is remember what you thought about the night before. And you're going to say to yourself before you get out of bed, just for today, peace and ease and calm. And if you take my Reiki class, we'll talk about it at the end. I really would love for you to take, I'm serious. I would love for you to take my Reiki class because it's an animal Reiki class, but we go through all of the traditional Reiki things that teach us how to quiet that mind, that monkey mind that goes on. But before you even step your feet out of bed, remind yourself that today it's all about peace and calm and ease. And that's stepping into your Reiki class. And then you get out of bed and then you can go into the bathroom. And then if you have to, that's when you can check your phone. I like to wait 1 hour. I like to give myself 1 hour before I have to, because the next thing you know, you guys know this, you check your phone. There's a text message from your kid. There's email from your boss. There's blah, 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 blah. Give yourself an hour of peace. Give yourself an hour of peace before you grab the first cup of coffee too. That's just one of my own little tricks. I used to be the person who would wake up and the first thing you did was press the button on the coffee maker. Not anymore. Not anymore. All right. So I had to get that out. For whatever reason, I had to get that out. All right. Let's see what other things we've got. Going for another MRI on Wednesday. Kali, we are all holding you virtually, sending you beautiful, loving, healing energy. I want you to pre-program your mind in advance. All is well. 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 And we will hold you virtually as you go for your additional tests. Yes, right, all of us, right here, right now, all of us sending you positive healing energy. There's no such thing as time or space. Time is a linear function of being here on planet Earth. We are sending this across all time and space. We're from all different parts of the world, and we are sending you loving, healing energy. I saw Charlie on here earlier. Now I don't see it, but I'm just scrolling down. So bear with me as I scroll through my little messages. And it's good to see you. We are happy to have you with us too. Need to hear that so bad after going back to work. You are welcome. What I just said, maybe after going back to work, all the things that you need. The class. Thank you, Jody. I had my whole life turned around when I took a Reiki class. You guys, some of you know this story. I took a Reiki class because I thought that I should. I was kind of talked into it, and I was not behind it. I was the one rolling my eyes then. As I took the Reiki class, I had a family member who was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and I wanted to be able to offer some kind of help. And so I took the Reiki class, not even understanding what it was going to do and how it was going to help me to find peace and how it was going to change my life so dramatically. When I think back, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I just can't believe the change in my life. It's like literally, when we talk about jumping timelines, it's only sometimes in hindsight that we recognize that that's what happened, and Reiki is the thing that did it for me. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a little bit. Um, okay, so I think that was it for all of the questions. And then, as always, I hold on. I saw the name Scout. Scout just corrected me. She calls you Miss Elaine. Phoebe calls you Aunt Elaine. You can just call me Elaine. Nice lady. Thank you, Pat. That's so true. And more than one of you might have heard that, because it comes through often when I first introduce myself to animals that I've not met before. So if I've never met your animal companion and I'm reaching out to them for the first time and they're on the other side, I just like to really sit in a quiet space. I do a meditation, and I just like send out beams of love and friendliness and happiness, and I let them know why I'm kind of connecting with them. And since they refer to me as the nice lady, yeah, that's funny that you remember that, Pat. Okie dokie. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the ways that you can communicate with your animal companions on the other side of life. So I'm just taking a note of the minute. We're at 26 minutes on the dot. So I'm going to make a little note in the comments about 26 minutes if you want to get right to it. How do you communicate with animal companions on the other side of life? This is not the fringe that we're talking about anymore. This is becoming more and more common. You are going to find more and more YouTube channels, more and more people who are recognizing that we have the ability to communicate with souls. I say the other side of life. I should just say the other side in the non-physical, because they're still alive. You're still alive. They still exist. Every soul still exists once it leaves a physical body. And more people are becoming aware of that. And communication is a two-way street. I've mentioned before, I've done some other videos on communication, because I used to be a business communication teacher. I was a communication major in college, and then I taught business communication for a long time at a college. And I still do teach that, but from a whole different perspective now. Communication is a two-way street. Communication is about giving and receiving messages, and I'll just give you a brief taste of this. There is a sender, the person who is delivering a message. There is a receiver, the person who is intended to get the message. There is the message that is going to be shared. There is a channel of communication. So how does that message get across? Whether it's a cell phone or an email or a text, or you're writing something, or you're just speaking something, or even now it's extended to things like video. So there's a channel of communication, and the channel that we're going to talk about is telepathic, another word that I am trying to remove the stigma from about telepathic communication. It's not do. It's non-local mind. It is being able to send and receive this message with your mind, not necessarily with the traditional form of communication. So we have, and then the other piece of that is noise. And that's what you guys have all raised questions about. The other piece of the communication puzzle is all of the noise that gets in the way of the message getting through from one person to the other, or from one soul to the other. All of the things that are going on in our monkey mind, all of the interference in our external world, all of the supposed stigma or judgment attached to telepathic communication, all of that just gets in the way of giving and receiving messages. So my goal tonight is to give you some concrete, actual ways that you can begin to practice this in your own home, in your own life, to be able to communicate with your animal companion, to send messages and to give messages. I have a little short form video about what I do for my own animals. Sometimes I forget it's a two-way street. I'm looking for signs. I'm looking all day long. I'm waiting for the sign, forgetting. Wait a minute. I can let that. They're waiting for a message from me as much as I'm waiting for a message from them. And so I have a little blanket that I keep on my bed, one of those fleece blankets, and I can write a message on it. I've written messages with my dry erase marker on my bathroom mirror. Sometimes I just write it in my book. I keep a journal. I call it a journal, but look, see, I've done repetitive writing there. Sometimes I just write it in my book. I love you. 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 Or you can just say it out loud too. But they're waiting for messages from us as much as we are waiting for messages from them. So it's a two-way street. And the secret, and I'm gonna share, I've said this a bazillion times, and I guess I'll say it a bazillion more. Love. Love is like the battery. Love is the charger that infuses the message and allows us to be able to have this kind of communication. It carries the message. When we can infuse everything with love, and when we learn about animal Reiki, we talk about love being the thing that heals, because it is like it's the magic. And I don't mean romantic love. I don't even mean the love that you feel for your animal companion, that deep love. This is like, I don't know the LOVE capital letters, big, bold neon letters across the sky. It's the deepest form of love that you can imagine. And when you infuse your messages with love, they are instantly transported across all time and space to what we call the Rainbow Bridge, because it's a wonderful little place to imagine that our animals are, because we can't really wrap our minds around where their soul goes when they leave the physical. So we have this beautiful place called the Rainbow Bridge, and that's wonderful to think about. But the Rainbow Bridge is right here. The Rainbow Bridge is in your heart. The Rainbow Bridge is right next to you. The Rainbow Bridge is everywhere. Your message does not have to travel across thousands of hundreds of light years to get to the place far off in the universe where your animal companion resides. The Rainbow Bridge is right here. So their presence continues right here. What are some ways? The first thing that I would suggest that you do, other than I mentioned the preparing yourself in the morning and the morning and the evening. When I start to get excited about things, I start to talk too fast. So let's try and take a deep breath, Elaine. Have a nice drink of water. There are ways to prepare your physical body to be able to communicate with your souls on the other side. And I see some comments scrolling by, so I'm going to, hi Z, it's good to see you. I'll look at those again in a moment, because I want to stay. I haven't set up my little dual setup. I forgot about that so I don't have to be constantly distracted, as I just got. Ways to prepare yourself. Subconscious priming, is that what you want to call it? Subconscious priming. When you go to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning. But there's practices that you can do. So if you're like, I like to get up in the morning and move. I like to do some physical movement, whether it's yoga. Lately, it's just been stretching. I like to ride my bike. I like to go to the gym. I like to keep my bones strong. I like to be physically active. But there are things that you can do also for your mind. I'm going to introduce just briefly. When we're in our classes, we do a deep dive into the pineal gland, but I'm going to give you a brief practice about your pineal gland. So your pineal gland is a very, very tiny, like the size of a grain of rice. It's a little endocrine gland, I want to say. It's part of the endocrine system. It's in the center of your brain. So if you were to have something that goes front and back and side to side, it's right in the center of your brain, your pineal gland. And it does a lot of things. It's your sleep cycle, it's your circadian rhythm. It has a lot to do with hormones that flow throughout your body. We're going to talk about it in terms of what it does for your spiritual connection. It is the third eye. The third eye is a spiritual, metaphysical concept. The concept of the actual third eye, I want to say, is introduced to us through Hinduism, but it is a physical part of your brain that is overlooked. It's like the appendix of the brain, because people think that it's not that critical because it's so tiny, but it is super critical. And the care that you take of it, it's much like you would care for any other organ of your body. You're going to want to actually take care of that pineal gland, because it is the thing that allows you to. It's like it's like a little teeny weeny cell phone inside your brain. And our nutrition, our sleep habits. There are so many things that keep it not active as it could be. And I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. You can go ahead, if you wanted to look up activating your pineal gland, go for it. There are now becoming quite a number of videos. I'm just going to say tutorials. That's the word I'm looking for, that will teach you how to open your pineal gland. But one thing that you can do for your pineal gland is it's through breath work. And you're gonna wanna breathe in. So this is just activating. So it's like if you were gonna turn on the on button on your cell phone. You're gonna close your eyes, you're gonna take a nice deep breath, and you're gonna breathe in from the bottom. So it's like instead of breathing in from here, you're breathing in from the bottom and allowing I'm trying to think of the easiest way to describe this. If you were to clench all the muscles between your legs, you're gonna clench all those muscles and you're gonna breathe in at the same time. That activates the spinal fluid to go from the base of your spine right up to the center of your brain. That's what it does. And I call it pinging. It's like pinging your pineal gland. So you're gonna breathe in, you're gonna clench all those muscles in between your legs, and you don't have to do anything else. It naturally, your spinal fluid just goes right up through your spine. It does it all automatically. Nothing, you don't have to like go, I wonder if do I feel that traveling up? You don't ever, it's like your heartbeat. It's like breathing. You don't have to worry about it. You're just activating it though. So instead of taking like little shallow breaths, you're taking a very conscious breath that allows that to happen. The other way that you can do it is through meditation. The one thing that I like to do is close my eyes. I might have mentioned this before to you guys now that I'm saying it. I close my eyes as I'm focused on my breath, and then I stare right here at my forehead. Eyes closed, I'm looking up and at the center of my forehead. That's also another way. And what it does is that pulls the spinal fluid up. So your spinal fluid is always going up and down. It travels up and down your spine all day long. You don't have to give it a second thought, but you can give it a second thought. You can and if you want to do that together, breathe in as you're clenching all those muscles in the lower part of your body and you're staring at the center of your forehead. It only takes a second and you have activated your pineal gland. But it takes a little bit of practice. So sometimes we are not used to like contracting all those muscles. We are not used to staring cross-eyed at our forehead. So it takes a little bit of practice, but you get there. And then you do it. You just take a couple of deep breaths. And we're going to talk about intention setting in just a minute, but you take a couple of deep breaths, you contract those muscles, you look right here, and you have started to exercise your pineal gland. And I would do it on a regular basis. Just do it until you get used to it. And then at some point, you won't have to even think about it. It'll just happen automatically. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I've mentioned before is it's actually a Reiki technique. It goes back so far. It has been popularized by the Heart Math Institute. The Heart Math Institute, heartmath.org, is the private organization that has been studying the coherence of our brain and our heart. And they have come up with this form of breathing, but it is Reiki breathing. Oh my gosh, is it Reiki breathing? But I'll explain to you without using all the Reiki terminology. You want to, in order to receive and send easily communication with the other side, you're preparing your brain and your body to be able to give and receive messages. You take a nice deep breath and you touch your heart. Just touching your heart right here is all you need to do. You just touch that and it makes your heart aware that you're touching it. Now, your heart has receptors just like your brain, and you're touching your heart, you're bringing your attention and your focus there, and you're doing a breath. So you're breathing in, and if you breathe in for a count of 4, this is just an example, you exhale for just a little bit longer. So if you breathed in, counting to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you exhale for 6, you would just count to 6 on the exhale. That focused breath allows your brain and your heart to become coherent, which means they're in rhythm with each other. They are at the same frequency. Your brain is not, it kind of turns the switch for your brain thinking all of those crazy monkey thoughts. But it takes a little bit of practice. It's something that you're going to do on a regular basis. And what you're going to find is that it starts to impact all kinds of areas of your life. You start to get calm. You start to be able to approach things calmly. Even now, if I'm faced with a problem or an issue or a difficult conversation, I can do that breathing first, and it allows me to think about it from a whole different perspective. So that's another way that you can do it. The heart-brain coherence, it's guided breathing. Now, here's an easy thing. This is going to go back to Kali. Kali says, "How do I do this if I have trouble concentrating?" Any kind of focus on your breath. You can call it, so box breathing is another great one. Box breathing is like 4, 4, 4, 4, just like a box is what you think of. You breathe in for a count of 4, you hold it for a count of 4, you release it for a count of 4, and you keep it exhaled for a count of 4, and then you breathe in again. The counting of your breath and the focus on that, on 4 and 4 and 4 and 4, it gives your brain a job other than being on that crazy train. It gives your brain something to do, and it gives your brain a way to focus. Even if you can only do it for 5 minutes, that's all you, I mean, and by 5 minutes, I mean the time that you go, "Okay, I'm gonna, like, activate my pineal gland. I'm gonna breathe in. I'm counting to 4, 4, 4. Okay, I wanna receive a message from my animal companion." The whole thing, if you only do it for 5 minutes, that's a great start. Start with 1 minute. You don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be some, like, I can sit down now for half an hour and have a conversation with an animal companion on the other side, and it's wonderful. I don't even keep track of the time. I just go with whatever comes to me. But as you're just beginning to start out, just don't be hard on yourself. Be graceful with yourself, and just take a couple of minutes as you begin to do that. So that's the priming. And I wanna share why I think that Reiki opened the doors for me, because what we learned about, there's one other thing that we do with the system of Reiki, and it's about aligning our head, our heart, and I know I've mentioned this before. In the Reiki world, we call it our hara, which is our core, Hara. So that's your core. And that's why I think that even the Heart Math Institute, they're missing a big piece of aligning our gut or our core with our heart and our mind. And we do it with breath. And you can even do it with touch. So if you wanted to touch your head and then touch your heart and then touch your hara or your core, just, and with each one, take a deep breath. And I again, I love to say things. It's so easy just to be able to say, I just choose peace. Right now, I choose peace, and I choose ease, and I choose connection. And that's another way that you can get yourself primed for that. My favorite way, the easiest way that I find, is just a mantra that that I say to myself. Nothing is more important than my Lucy right now. So if I'm just using Lucy as an example, I want to connect with Lucy. Nothing is more important than Lucy right now. And so that's an easy thing for me to say, right? Nothing is more important from Lucy, but I'm Kali, since you put it out there, I'm gonna go back and say that. Kali has something on her mind. Something's coming up that medically, that she's got to be prepared for. It's a thing that's hard to put aside. So this is what I would do. I would sit down with a little piece of paper, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're saying to yourself, nothing is more important right now than being able to connect with Gary and Potato. Nothing is more important. And then that little thought creeps in. Want to bet? I know something. It's your little monkey brain going, "Oh yeah, here's something that's more important. You have a big medical test coming up. Make that less important then." Write it down. Write it down. Make a list of everything that comes to your mind that's keeping you from being focused on your animal companion, or keeping you from being able to communicate. Write everything down, and then go back without judgment and look at it and go, "Nope, not more important. Nope, not more important. Nope, could care less. Nope, not going to worry about that." And then you've got this little list, and this is, you can just say, I'm going to set that list aside, and we'll worry about that list later. I'll come back to you. Thanks for showing up for me. Thanks for reminding me what you think is important. For right now, this is what I think is important. Nothing is more important than Lucy. Nothing. And then you can start to give and receive messages. Then I'm going to share one more thing. This is one I haven't mentioned in a while. The velvet bag. The velvet bag is where you close your eyes, and without judgment, let all the stuff come in. Let everything come in, whatever it is. The bill you forgot to pay, the whatever, all the stuff, whatever is keeping you on this little hamster wheel of thinking. Let it all come in and recognize it, see it, acknowledge it. There it is. And then I like to picture this beautiful velvet bag, like a giant Santa bag. And the bag opens, it's got a little drawstring and everything. The bag opens and in they go. Okay, hop in. In you go, guys. All those thoughts, all the things. There you go. There you go. They're in. And I'm pulling the drawstring tight. And I'm just going to set this bag, and you're visualizing this. I'm just going to set this bag mentally over here. It's going to hang out over there. There's a beautiful tree. There's a beautiful bush in my mind that's taking care of that bag for me. Just hang on to it. Keep it over there for a few minutes. I'll come back to that. But right now, I'd like my mind to be clear. And that's another way that you can let go of some of those distracting thoughts. And then after you're done, your little time that you're going to spend with your animal companion, if somebody handed you a cell phone, and said, this is a magic cell phone, you can dial a number right now, call your animal companion, and you can have a beautiful conversation with them, you would drop everything and take that cell phone and you would start talking and not give a hoot about anything else that's going on. That's really what you're doing. You just don't have a physical way. You don't have a physical thing to do it with. You are just going to do it mentally. Okay. So those were some techniques for how to quiet your mind. And then let's talk about how we're going to get and receive messages. I'm going to check comments super fast here. I love that whenever I touch my heart. Oh, that's why a lot of people get tattoos right on their heart space. You get a tattoo right on your heart space so that even when you touch it, it's, you know. Off topic, but I just realized the pineal gland, the letters are my last name. Oh, no kidding. That's cool. That's really cool. I love when there's name stuff. I was just recently listening to a podcast with somebody who recognized that their name meant something, and I think it's really kind of cool. So I got to figure out if there's any kind of meaning behind Elaine, right? And then you get into the whole maiden name thing too. Like, what's my real name? Is my real name just my first name, my maiden name, my whatever? Irrelevant. I love you too, Z. Oh, okay. So I wasn't going to mention that we could get into a whole night just on activating your pineal gland. If you guys want to do that at some point, you just let me know. I'll make myself a little note for that. If you want true pineal gland health, it includes no fluoride. And more locations are getting rid of the fluoridated water. Fluoridated water did not come into existence until like the 1950s, I want to say. I think it was the 50s and the 60s that there was, because there was a study done in England about this town where nobody had cavities, and they realized that it was because it was on a natural source of fluoride. So when people drank the water from there, they didn't get cavities. And then all of a sudden, we started fluoridating water all over the UK, all over the Americas. We are fluoridating our water, not recognizing that it wasn't natural fluoride that we're putting into our water. And anywho, if you know where my brain goes when we start talking about this stuff, I would simply limit the amount of fluoride that you ingest into your body. It's one thing with your toothpaste. As long as you spit out the toothpaste, a fluoridated toothpaste, there's a certain kind of fluoride that's better than others, but as long as you don't swallow it, but it was all of the ingesting of the fluoridated water that was resulting in, one of the results was that it impacts the pineal gland, which then in turn impacts our ability to, among many things, impacts our ability to communicate with our animals on the other side. Okay. I'm going to check, see if I missed anything else. Wrote a message for Enzo on the mirror too. Yeah, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. You can write it on the mirror. You can write it on your window. You can. It's so much fun to take a dry erase marker and just come up with new messages every day. I used to put thoughts in a briefcase mentally and leave it in the hallway. Yeah, it absolutely works. And because you can always go back and get it again if you want. There were times when I would visualize when I was first trying to figure out how to manage all the craziness up here. I would put all those thoughts in the velvet bag. I would visualize a tree, beautiful tree. The tree happily, willingly was hanging onto that bag for me. And when I was done my meditation, I would say, you want to get rid of that bag because I don't want it back. So it does work to help get rid of those thoughts. So what are some of the ways that we can give and receive messages? You can give messages any way that you choose. Just feeling the love in your heart is sending a message to your animal companion on the other side. I've mentioned this a couple of times that I believe it's a joint school of learning, that they are learning just as much as we are on the other side, how they can get through to us. Giving and receiving messages from the other side is just a little bit easier because they don't have all the baggage that we have with our physical bodies, and how we can give and receive messages too. So if you go to a place where you can quiet your mind and then you just like encode, infuse, that's a really good word. Infuse your message with love. It will go to the other side. It will go to the non-physical. It will go to this beautiful quantum field infused with love. And it's like, I picture this web, this beautiful web, and it just like kind of crackles out there. This beautiful electricity. When you infuse it with love, it just goes and off it goes into the universe, and your animal companion receives it. How do you know that they receive it and not some other animal that you've never connected with? Because you're connected. Your hearts are always connected. Go back a couple videos for that one. Your hearts are forever. They're forever entwined, even when they are not in a physical body anymore. And when you infuse that message with love, and it just like lightning bolts out into the universe, they receive it. Your animal companion receives it, and they will send it right back to you. Wait for that feeling to come back. Can you imagine what it feels like this like a little electrical shock, and you can get it right into your heart, and you'll feel love when just the feeling of love is receiving a message from your animal companion on the other side. It doesn't have to be a complicated, long message that tells you what your soul purpose is, but I like those kind of messages too. It doesn't have to be that. It can simply be reinforcement of love. I love to listen to this little meditate. It's not even a meditation, it's music in the morning. It's a little thing. I put my little earbuds in. It's just soft water, trickling water. Sometimes you hear rain and thunder. Sometimes there's birds chirping, but it puts me in such a peaceful state. And I can just feel Lucy and Jack and Winston, all of them, just sending me so much love. And when it fills my heart, that's even better than my Reiki suit, to have them fill my heart with love in the morning before I get out of bed. It's just a wonderful way to receive a message. Other ways, let's talk. We've talked about this, but I'm going to give you even a little bit more about the clairs. I have a bunch of people walking past my window. Oh, well. Well, what's the lady doing, Mom? Dreams. So our animal companions will often show up in our dreams. It is an easy way for them to get us messages. Sometimes it's just showing up for us in our dream. Sometimes they do show up with a message. Sometimes they show up with a message that you don't understand. I still have a dream from Lucy, a distressing dream from Lucy after she crossed, that I still don't understand the meaning behind, but I'm grateful for it anyway. I'm grateful that I could see her in my dream. I'm grateful that we were able to connect that way. Dreams are a topic. We've done it before, but we can always do it again. Dreams are they can be complicated, and dreaming can be complicated. So I like to be able to teach dream incubation. But dreams are a way that they get through to us. Signs and symbols. That's one of the easiest ways, is with the signs and the symbols. So you find a feather, or you hear a song, or you hear their name, or you see them in a cloud, or you've got a bird that comes to your window. A sudden memory. That's a wonderful way for them to get through to you, like a sudden memory out of nowhere. Don't take it as just that. It's not just a sign. It's not just their name that you're hearing. It's not just the sound that you're hearing. It is a message from them. By message, I mean it's a communication from them. They have communicated to you that you are on their mind as much as they are on your mind. Synchronicities, that's another thing, another great way to get messages through synchronicities. Synchronicities are coincidences. Um, that you will see a dog that looks just like your dog, that you will, I'm trying to think of the other synchronicities. Oh, like when Lucy showed me her name on a shirt after I was like a little bit despondent that I hadn't received a message from her in a dream, but the synchronicity of walking into the place where there could be, there in big gold letters on a shirt is the name Lucy. Those little synchronicities are the way they get through to us. One of the ways that they get through to us is through our clairs. Now, our clairs are extrasensory things. So you think of all of our senses, whether it's um, touch, sight, hearing, smell, taste. We're taught those 5 senses. From elementary school on, we are taught what those 5 senses are, what things taste like, but it goes way beyond that. And clair, like clairsentience, clairvoyance, clairaudience, those mean is simply clear, clearer, clear thought, clear sight, clear taste and smell. But I'm going to give you the 3 that we don't normally focus on. So clairvoyance, it doesn't mean that you have magical sight, even though it kind of is magical. It's that you are able to see better or more clearly than you would with just your physical eyes by using your advanced senses. Clairalience is smell. Clairalience is when you receive a scent that is not present otherwise. Like you are smelling roses and it's the middle of winter, there's no roses around. Right away, focus on that. Okay, I smell the roses, and sometimes it's not necessarily a good smell. Like I get an electrical burning smell from my grandmother, and it took me a long, long time before I realized that to associate that electrical burning smell with my grandmother. The smell of smoke, the smell of you may get a smell. Well, we've talked about this before. You may get the smell of poop, because that is something that to dogs is not an off-putting smell. It's a pleasant smell. And so they may be giving you that smell because to them it was something that was pleasant. So clairalience, clairgustance is taste. So when you are suddenly have a taste of something in your mouth that is not present physically, that is how they're getting through to you with that particular taste. And sending the message the other way. Remember? So you guys know that when I went up to the mountains last week, I went to a bakery specifically so that I could get Lucy a treat. And how did I share a message with her? I savored that chocolate cake. I savored every last bite of it. I let it be in my mouth and letting all of those taste buds feel every little flavor and inviting her to taste it along with me so that in her spirit, she could be tasting every last little bit of that chocolate cake. And I know she tasted it. And I've shared this before that I send this message or that I share my sight with my father in the mountains. He loved the mountains. Just to look at the horizon, to look at a sunset over the mountains would bring tears to his eyes. So I just let my vision soften and allow him to see through my eyes. That is a form of communication. You are sending them a communication the way that they would send to you. Using your senses, you're allowing them to receive that message so that they can see. The last one is clairtangience. Clairtangience is a form of touch, but it's different. So if you were to, do I have something here? I do. This is a little bit of Jack's fur. So clairtangience is where I would take his beautiful fur and I would hold it in my hands. And I would ask to receive through this because, it's not just in the Hawaiian tradition, although it is the Polynesian tradition, that every living thing leaves a little bit of their soul behind in a little bit of their essence behind in something physical. I would hold on to this. Right now, I can feel Jack so clearly. I can't even describe it. That's clairtangience. Clairtangience is where you take something physical that you can touch and you're able to receive information through that. So if you have got your pet's collar or a piece of bedding, or a little bit of them, I just want to smell them. A little bit of my pony made me cry a little bit. A little bit of my pony parts. Didn't expect that. We called him Pony. That was it was such a big doggy. We called him a pony. My little pony here. So just to smell him, that alone will bring it. Now I have a little bit of Jack hair. That alone will bring in a message for you. You can share messages back in the same way. Any message at all that you want to share. So what are the types of messages that you can receive? It can just be messages of love, messages of knowing, messages of connection, but your animal companion on the other side also has access to information, is not necessarily the right word, but they have access to everything. And so when you're stuck, perhaps on a problem, or you are trying to figure out what is your purpose, like what's the thing that I should be doing right now? I know that my job is unfulfilling. Or let's say that you've already identified, you know that you want to work with animals, but how do you get there? You can ask them for insight. And that's where the automatic writing comes in. Because if you want to get a detailed message, I would recommend that you're going to want to write it down, that you're going to want notes, and you're going to want to receive. So we're going to do this little exercise right now. Just super quick. I'm going to tie everything together and just ask you to get one word and write it down if you can. But when I like to receive messages, sometimes I'll do it before these live streams. Sometimes I will do it in advance of if I'm going to be doing a reading for someone. I will do it when I'm preparing for a class. There's all kinds of things that I will do it for, but I will sit down with you don't need anything special. I got my magic Bic pen. I consider my Bic pen like an extension of the universe. It writes from it's receiving the information, and I'm using it as my magic wand to write. Plain old notebook paper. And I will sit down and I'll set my intention. I'll clear my mind of the thoughts that I don't want, put them in my velvet bag, whatever it is. And I will sit down and ask the question, please tell me what it is I need to know today. Please tell me what it is I need to know. I'm feeling a little lost this morning. Can you please point me in the right direction? And then you begin to write. And you might just write a word, or you might just write a feeling, or you might just write a color. And then you write another one and another one. And then all of a sudden a phrase pops into your mind. Whatever pops into your mind, you write. You don't question it. You don't second guess it. You don't say, that's stupid. You don't say, oh, I wonder if that was my ego. Don't worry about any of that. Your animal companion is going to be giving you messages that they want you to trust them. And you just begin to write those down. And that's how I get my more complex messages. I ask those complex questions. I write the question at the top of my page, and I say it out loud. Lucy, what is it? What is it I can't get past today? What is it I need to know? And then just begin to write whatever comes into your mind. All right, I am going to check questions, and then I'm going to take you through this little thing. I made myself so many notes that I'm not ever going to get to them all this evening. Yeah. I'm just trying to think what's the most important thing to do right now. Okay. We can come back to that. I smell cigarettes for your grandmother. Yes. And a lot of times that smell is going to be something that you associate with your animal companion or your human companion. So the electrical burning is because that was the smell that infused my little 12-year-old nose on the day that my grandmother passed. That smell of burning electrical. And it took me a long time before I figured out that that's what the association was, because it was there was such a deep emotion attached to that particular smell. Automatically called him Smokey. A little off topic, but working with your chakras and shadow work help to deepen the connection. We have not ever really talked too much about chakras on this channel, so maybe that's a topic for another week also. Also the shadow work. We haven't talked about either. Thank you for bringing those up, Sherry, because those are kind of new topics that we can address that we haven't talked about before. Did anyone else get a big heart swell when Elaine just took Jack's fur into her hands? I hope that you did. And I hope that he filled all of your hearts. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this live right now or if you're watching it in the future, the emotion that was infused when I touched his fur, there was instant communication. And that's the example that I want to be able to share. And if you felt that heart swell from Jack, then you'll know exactly what it feels like. It'll be 100 times even more powerful when you connect with your animal companion. All right, so we're just gonna go. All right, please read my whole comment. All I see was that I automatically called him Smokey. I smell cigarettes from my grandmother. I put a pack of cigarettes in her coffin because she was a chain smoker. Isn't that wonderful? What a gift. Also, a little stuffed white and gray cat. That's why I feel when a gray and white cat came to me and you named him Smokey. That puts all the pieces together. Cheryl, that puts all the pieces together. Like it lined up so perfectly. Thank you for making me go back and read that entire comment because it makes total sense. That was complete communication. If you ever want an example of communication from the other side, that's it right there. And it goes all the way back to the passing of a grandparent. Beautiful. All right, you guys want to do this with me? Oh my gosh, look at how far over we are. All right, well, whoever can stick around, stick around. Uh-oh, hang on. I'm getting the disconnect message. My dream is to open up a new big animal shelter. Okay, so keeping fingers crossed. It looks like everything was reconnected, successfully reconnected. Wow, that frightens me, guys. Ever since that, like 2 weeks ago, when we lost the whole live stream, that's the last thing I would want. That would be a heck of a message, guys. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. We're going to take 5 minutes with me. If you have 5 minutes to spare, we're going to keep going for a couple more minutes. I'd like to take you through this little telepathic practice. We're going to start by closing our eyes. So if you're in a place where you can do this, otherwise come back to it. We're at 1 hour and 7 minutes. Otherwise, come back to that point in the video. You take a nice deep breath and you close your eyes. And I want you to take another deep breath. And we're going to activate your pineal gland by contracting all the muscles, just like if you were cutting off the flow. Contract all the muscles in between your legs. Cross your eyes. Look at this spot in your forehead. Easy breathing. Nothing else you need to do. Do that once or twice as you're breathing. And then we're going to do coherence by taking in a nice deep breath on the count of 4. Exhale for a count of 6. One more time, inhaling for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 6. And if any little thoughts crop into your mind, don't worry about them. It's okay. Let them show up if they want to show up. You've got more important things to do. Nothing is more important right now than connecting with your animal companion on the other side. Nothing. There is nothing more important. And now I want you to take your hands and gently touch your heart space. And from your heart, I want you to visualize that this beautiful little bridge just springs from your heart. It's the rainbow bridge. It's rainbows. It's this beautiful, little, wonderful, colorful bridge. It springs right from your heart. And now I want you to speak from your heart. And your animal companion is right there on that bridge waiting to hear from you. Speak from your heart, not from your head. Send love, send gratitude, and send a little message. Just send a little message to your animal companion, whatever you want that to be. I miss you. I love you. I love you. I wish you were here. I wish I could feel you physically. But I trust that you can come through to me now. And is there something that you would like to tell me? One word, one image, one feeling, just one little thing that you would like to tell me. I'm open to receive. And allow it to come right across that bridge and into your heart. You'll know exactly what it is. And while the bridge may fade from the scene, your animal companion doesn't. They're right here with you, right here, right now. And I want you just to open your eyes right now without having to let go of anything. Open your eyes and write down instantly the word that came to you, the thought that came to you, the feeling, the image, whatever it is. Write it down. That's the message that you got tonight. And I would encourage you. You may want to get now. See, I've gotten so many of these books that I no longer I no longer spend $20 on a journal anymore because I have so many of them. I like my little 99-cent copybook from the grocery store and my big pen. But I would encourage you to keep a reflection journal. Every time you do this, do it as often as you want. You can't do it too much. You can't do it too little. You do it whenever it's right for you. But I would start to write down every time that you make this connection. Every single time, because you'll start tracking your signs. You'll start tracking your dreams. You'll start tracking the synchronicities. I started tracking once. I don't have it near me. Maybe I'll have it out for next time. I started tracking in a little book. I had a little copybook, and I would track every time that I saw the repeating numbers. So I would just write down, Monday the 5th, I saw 111, 777. Just start keeping a journal of all that because it makes it tangible. It just makes it tangible. You have a reminder that you can go back to. And then, of course, you'll have a place where you can write all the complicated messages too. All right. Is there anything else that I want to share tonight? I do want to close by letting you guys know about the Reiki class. So I'm teaching animal Reiki and communication. It is considered a certification class. So I will teach you everything. If you ever wanted to learn about Reiki, you're going to get it. But I'm going to teach it to you also with how to do with animals. So that if you wanted to learn how I make the connections that I make with animals, I would love to have you in my class. It starts September 20th. It's a Saturday morning. We're going to meet for Saturday mornings, 6 Saturday mornings, starting on the 20th. We just meet for like an hour and a half on Zoom. It's on Zoom. They are recorded, but I do ask that you're able to come to the majority. You need like 5 of the 6 classes, and that starts on September 20th. I'll post all the details for you. If you're interested, not necessarily in the Reiki and communication, but if you want to learn how to awaken all of your psychic skills, because Reiki opened so many doors for me beyond communication and beyond my own peace of mind. It opened up all of my psychic abilities. So the Animal Mystic Masterclass begins October 2nd, and I'm going to do that for every Thursday in October. So I think there's 5 Thursdays in October. Every Thursday in October, we are going to be learning how to really awaken all of your psychic abilities. And again, this is no longer fringe stuff. I am teaching you things. In fact, I started collecting some of my feathers because we do a little class on feather work. If you've ever found a feather, there's so many ways that we are able to really awaken our psychic abilities. So that is in October. And then finally, this is not a class that's for everybody, but in November, I'm going to reopen the Peaceful Crossings class, which will teach you how to be an end-of-life pet doula. So how to help other families and other people whose animal companions are approaching end of life. So that'll be in November, and I'll post those. I haven't pulled all that information together yet, but that would be the 3rd class that I'm offering. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. I would love to have my familia to be part of that class. Some of you have already been through it. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys, because Reiki is just, I can't stress enough how much my life changed once I began to practice Reiki. And I was not the believer, not by a long shot, but anywho. Okay, my friends, what time on Thursday? I don't have my times, my time, and converting the time, because you're Eastern time. It is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Time that's the psychic development class that comes up on Thursdays. Thank you, Shari. I appreciate your support for that. Don't forget to like the video. Oh yeah, please. I am figuring this out. Me and my buddy ChatGPT are figuring out how we can start to get, because we're only getting, of the live streams, we're only getting a couple hundred views. And I know that there's so many other people out there that could be helped by some of the things that we talk about and by some of the sharing that we do. So we're working on it. So thank you, Donna, for reminding me to say, because I know I forget to say those things that you're supposed to say. Please like and subscribe. Please share this with anybody who you know needs it. But I mean it seriously. I mean, I mean it not just because I want to see numbers grow. We're close to 10,000 subscribers, which is awesome. But to have only 200 views and 10,000 subscribers, that there's a disconnect there somewhere. So thank you, Donna. All right. Have a beautiful, amazing, awesome week. I love you guys so much. And until next week, may animals light your way. Take care, all.